August the 24th, 2020. Guys, I've been watching this morning since about daylight, and finally the top storm, which is Marco, is now a tropical depression at 50 miles an hour, has made that left turn, and actually it's the wind shear that we saw, all this movement moving across Florida for the last few days, has stripped the top of Marco off. See that? Here's the center of circulation again. Watched it several times in the last few hours, and it just continued to go up towards Florida. But now it is making a left turn. Will it reform now that it's out of some of that wind shear? We don't know. It's a good sign that it has weakened. You're still going to get some moisture, but that Category 1 hurricane does not exist at this point, and that is good. What you're seeing below that now is off the Cuban coast. Watch right here in the last few frames. You can see where the center of circulation is of Laura, right in here, guys. So it looks like it's going to cross the western tip of Cuba just because of the path that it's on. Now, as we look at the cone track from Marco, we're right here this morning. Now we're tropical storm. You got tropical storm warnings out along the Mississippi and the Louisiana coast. It's going to move up closer to the coast, skirt it, and weaken into a depression according to this model. But notice this turn at the left. And it makes you wonder, we know that the top got stripped off of the storm, but it maintained that course instead of turning early. Just wondering how that second storm, tropical storm Laura, was affecting that failure to turn, in other words. But now it's out from under that. We'll be able to know exactly where it's going pretty much, unless it pulls one of the loops around we saw with the Navy model. Let's take a look at the other storm. Now here's our second storm, Laura. Here at 8 a.m. it was here. It's 2.5 hours ago, and now we're seeing getting very close to that western tip, and just like the radar is indicating, it's going to cross that western tip of Cuba and move up according to the cone track, and the center will be around Sabine Pass on the Texas and Louisiana border. Then it makes a curve here, so you can get some rain from this inland. The track on this cone, the right side track takes it into Mississippi, the left side up into Texas and Oklahoma. Arkansas, you're under the guns for some winds, possibly tropical storm force winds. Now, the storm is at 65 miles an hour, moving west-northwest at 21 miles an hour. Still predicted to become a Cat 2 before it makes landfall Thursday at 2 a.m., or say Wednesday night sometimes, but Wednesday at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. This is supposed to be the location right there. And it's going to be interesting to see if Marco lingers in this area like we were watching. Let's look at some of the models themselves. Now, on Marco, both the Navy model and the CMC are pretty much agreeing that it looks like the center of the storm is going to stay offshore, this tropical depression that we're seeing now. If it does that, it could at least maintain the tropical storm status if it doesn't strengthen. And then they both stop right here. I think that they're just unsure of the effect of the much larger storm coming in behind us. This was updated just 35 minutes ago, guys. And I meant to point this out. Let me go back here just a moment. On this particular cone tracking, notice Wednesday at 2 a.m. that the storm may be coming ashore around Galveston. But it's going to, depending on where it's at in this cone, the Navy model and the Canadian model keep it offshore. So Wednesday at 2 a.m., as we have a much larger storm coming in right behind it, guys. Same time, Wednesday 2 a.m., the storm somewhere in this area. That will be interesting to watch to see if it is pulled back around and follows Laura inland as a Cat 2. Now, as far as the spaghetti models for Laura, this is again 10 a.m. update Eastern Time, 37 minutes ago. The Navy and the Canadian model now are coming together on the Sabine Pass to Central Louisiana path. Everything's kind of starting to focus that way, Louisiana and Texas. So you got to keep your eyes on this. And looking at the Navy actual animated model, guys, you can see both storms here. And right before the second storm, Laura, comes in as a Cat 2, you can see the storms connect. Watch this. The low pressure connects right there. So I don't know how that's going to affect how far Texas is affected by Marco. It's going to be interesting to see. The Canadian model is showing pretty much the same thing. Both storms seem to combine right here before the Cat 2 comes ashore. Right in here. We'll let it play through again. CMC model. Right there as it tracks. And then it's kind of absorbed into this system. We'll just see how that plays out. It's new to most scientists that are alive now that watch this, and meteorologists. And I think that's been some of the confusion, just not knowing how to actually put the parameters of the models into the computer was something you haven't really dealt with that much. So we'll watch this throughout the day, guys. I'm going to be out of pocket for a couple of hours. As soon as I get back, I'll do an update. It's a heads up. Be safe.